What is going on, YouTube? PPS here, back Wednesday, usually an NBA one, but with the March Madness around the corner here tomorrow, already 24 hours away, we're going to come at you with some region breakdowns, with some best bets, some sleepers. Monotone's going to give you whatever he wants here for some college basketball. How we doing, Monotone? You ready for some college ball,
I am. I'm very ready. I'm doing great. Still all my circles, are still talking about NBA, but I'm trying to let everyone know, guys, nobody cares anymore. It's March, it's college basketball time, and it's great. I watched almost zero regular season college basketball. I did watch some tournament. So I have some great 15-minute analysis, of the 15 minutes I watched. But yeah, I think it's great. March Madness is when everyone comes together and bets on this stuff, whether you know stuff like you do or you don't like me. So, I'm just kind of trusting the people that I know, formulating some opinions, fading the public in spots. We'll talk about the whole thing, but I think it's a fun, not only thing to bet on, but the game theory, everything behind it is real fun for me. So I love March. I'm excited.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of public dogs I've been seeing love for. There's a lot of teams that I've watched that are smaller conference teams that I think are going to give some bigger teams trouble. I'm on quite a few upsets in this first round. Obviously, there's a lot of people liking teams that I have losing extremely. I'm not very high on many of the ones. I actually have two of them going out Sweet 16 earlier. So I'm very excited to see how we do this year in my bracket. So yeah, we'll get right into it. I'm just going to send this tweet out for some college basketball. Let's do this thing. All right. So we got some people in the chat already. Jason in here. Jay, as always, joining us, ready to cash a few tickets with us this week. I already have about 9 or 10 plays locked in already, sent out. I've done 4 separate videos for each region with one best bet in each one of them. So I've given out 4 of them. I'll probably go over those again in this, just because we got some people in here wanting some bets. So yeah, let's just get right into it. We'll get the bracket up, and let's see if I can get there. We go. And yeah, we'll just go. Where do you want to start today, Monotone? Where is your first spot?
Yeah, so I don't think we need to spend too much time talking about if Gonzaga is going to be able to hang on against Georgia State. So I guess interesting. Boise State, Memphis, right under it is one I've almost heard everyone I've talked to just write off Boise State off the bat. It's almost like everyone I've heard is just kind of on Memphis, no discussion about it. What do you think about that one? Are you on a part of that train?
Well, I definitely think Boise State is tough. They're an extremely tough matchup for Memphis. I personally like Memphis in this game, but I think the amount of love is kind of staring me off of it. I am actually on the over in this side. I think that Memphis's pace is definitely going to be kind of what's going to happen here. Is you got Boise State bottom 50 in pace. You got Memphis top, I think, 30 in pace. We're going to go at it. Obviously, we have a little bit older team in Boise State. Memphis is like top 50 in scoring. I think they're like 76 points per game. Boise State, 15 defensive points allowed, sitting at 60. I think the biggest thing for this one, if you're looking at a money line, is Boise State's offense is not great. Memphis's defense is not great. Which one is going to prevail there? I think the pace is going to be a little bit quicker than Boise State wants, but I've not been very impressed with Memphis's defense there. They're the much, much more talented team. I think it's just going to be a pace battle here. Who's going to win the pace? Who's going to be allowed to run? Or if it's Boise State, slow it down. I usually lean towards the teams that are slowing it down, but with the talent discrepancy here, I have to lean Memphis if I'm going to take a money line. I think I would just take the over. I got in on it at 130 and a half. I sent it to AP like 4 days ago, right when I saw it, because I knew everybody would overreact to the Boise State slow side. And Memphis has a decent defense just because they're so damn long, but they're just not. I mean, I'm not a huge Penny Hardaway guy. I don't think he's that great of a coach. But yeah, I would lean Memphis, take the over.
Yeah, no, the Penny Hardaway is a huge one, right? People in March, they love the recognizable name, who's someone we know. And then, like you said, the length and the pace is all kind of what's leading everyone on Memphis. I also, I watched that Boise State game against San Diego State. Obviously, San Diego State has a better defense, but not being able to score against some of these high-powered offenses is going to be tough, especially like with that length you kind of mentioned. I ended up going with Memphis in most of my brackets. There's a lot of places where you want to take a stand against the field. I didn't feel a strong need to in this spot. So I took Memphis, but right under it, this whole thing is kind of tough for me. But New Mexico State and UConn is one that I see a lot of upsets. I see a lot of people picking upsets. Are you part of that?
I didn't really have a take on this one. I'm not really a huge UConn fan. I know there are a lot of people that are heavy on UConn. Not really a huge New Mexico State fan. I watch them a few times because I'm a degenerate and bet on late night college basketball when they're like one of the only games on. But if I'm going to take one, I'm going to lean UConn. I like RJ Cole, old guy playing here. Obviously, you want some experience. I just think UConn's a little bit too good for New Mexico State. I know people like them. New Mexico State has some stuff that I like about them too, but it's just the talent discrepancy again when you get to the mid-majors. There's a lot of mid-majors I do like the team directly under this game. I like that one. I could talk a lot more about that one, but I think UConn is just going to be too much. I don't see New Mexico State being able to fight with them very much.
Okay, yeah, that's from a game theory perspective, right? The 5 versus the 12 is an interesting one. You hear that all the time, right? Every pundit on ESPN is mentioning that, just so people love, the upset in the 5 versus 12 game. And I feel like a lot of them need to do it immediately, right? They're filling out their bracket. They got ESPN on the back and they immediately go, UConn, oh, that's not a great 5 seed. Kemba doesn't play there anymore. New Mexico State, so I'm with you. I also ended up going UConn here. I'm gonna punch these in too. We'll do what I'm doing here, and then with your recommendations along with it. So we'll go Gonzaga, Memphis, and UConn to start out. Let's go into Arkansas, Vermont. I'm curious what you got in this one.
Yeah, Whitty Fawn kind of tells you there is the playmakers. That's why I do not see them going very far, but they are so athletic. They can shoot the ball. I obviously like Hurley as a coach. I think he's a great coach. And that's just going to kind of put me towards that side. It's nothing against New Mexico State. I just don't think they're built to beat top Big Five conference or 5. So, I mean, I 100% agree with what you're saying there. Jason S. talking about, I did see DK having that promo. Just play that. That shit's just a lock. Just throw that shit in there. Ethan Turbo in the chat. Obviously got Jay back here. Again, guys, if you have any questions, drop them in there. We'll try to get to everything. Try to whiz through a few of these.
Yep. But yeah, so let's see, Vermont, Arkansas. I might be a little bit biased, right? Because last year I had Colgate over Arkansas. That was one of mine. I don't know if you remember this game. Colgate went up about 20. I'm in my room. I'm cheering, I'm like, oh yeah, I told all my friends to go bet this, and then Arkansas's length, they're just bigger, they're faster, they came back. I don't think Colgate, barely scored the rest of the game. Does a similar thing happen again this year?
Well, the thing with the Colgate game, I mean, everybody was on it. Like, everybody kind of liked them. And I'm pretty sure Arkansas covered that game, didn't they? They backdoor covered that, right?
Yes.
It's because when you're looking at it, right, Colgate, who play my Badgers this week, I'll be at that game in the Pfizer. They just only shoot threes. That's their only option to score the basketball.
Yep.
There's no other way for them to score the basketball. And so I am looking here at Vermont. I am on Vermont. I think Vermont wins this game. And I did this is my favorite first round matchup in this side of the bracket for these guys here. And yeah, so I actually did a full video for this already. But I'll just kind of give you guys my Cliff Notes-ish part of it. And Vermont is absolutely for real, right? They're a 14 seed, but if you looked at their conference, they beat every single one of their teams in that conference tournament by 30. They won 8 straight games, 8 straight wins, every single one of them by double digits. Like, this team is doing what you expect from a team that is that much better than their conference, right? Everybody's going to say talent, blah, 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 right? They're not playing anybody. But isn't that the exact same thing we said about Gonzaga like 6 years ago, right? When they're playing all these guys and they're just beating the piss out of them, but everybody's like, oh, they're not playing anybody. But if you're given those teams and you're beating them by 30, you're showing what you got, right? I'm not saying anywhere close Vermont is related to Zaga, right? I'm not anywhere close to that. But Vermont is 20th in points allowed, 40th in points per game for Arkansas, their top 40 team. So obviously, I'm a little bit worried about that. But when it comes down to it, Arkansas cannot shoot. Arkansas cannot shoot the three at all. They're bottom 50 in three-point percentage. I think that is absolutely massive in a game where you have a Vermont team that shoots the ball top 100 from three, top 15 from two, and they're 109 at 74 points per game, top 100 in free throws, 36% from three. I have all these numbers, like I said, because I've done this already, all these before, but it's just if Vermont makes their shots, which they have been doing, this is going to get dicey. I watch enough Arkansas games where they're decent. They're pretty good defensively, obviously playing in a much better conference in the SEC. But if you can't shoot in this game, we're going to have some issues. When you have dogs that you're trying to back, right, you need multiple scores. Obviously, I relate this to Oral Roberts last year. When you have Oral Roberts, right, everybody talks about Max Abmas. But the reason why Oral Roberts did not continue that run this year is because O'Banner from there is now with Texas Tech. So they had the inside-out ability. They didn't have that this year. They had Abmas dropping 30 a game, and that's it, right? So when you have a team like this you're going to be backing a dog, they have two guys with 16 points per game. Davis and Shengu is, I believe, how you say their last names. Both of those guys shoot 41% from three, 75% from free throw line. Very old team, top six scorers, 5 seniors, 1 junior. It's just a tough spot. You're going to give me 5 points. I'm taking Vermont spread. I'm a little bit worried that a lot of people are on them, but you're giving me 5 points. I'm taking them money line too. I'm taking them to win this game. I just think the inability for other guys besides Note to step up in the SEC tournament is going to be the reason why Vermont takes this one over. I just think they have too many weapons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I love what you said. I mean, hey, I'm on the Vermont spread as well with you right here. You know, it is somewhat popular, which is a little bit scary. But, you know, I mean, first of all, you mentioned the dual scorers. You love to hear that, right? When these smaller teams only have one guy that's carrying the load, it gets real easy to lock in on that guy. Additionally, fundamentals, you know, well-coached team. They don't turn the ball over that much. Senior presence. It's just kind of all those things we look for in an upset. So there's a reason these are popular sometimes. So I'm with you right here. We're taking Vermont to move on. And now we got Alabama staying in the SEC versus Indiana, right? Indiana was the team that ended up taking over.
Sorry, this tweet, I had the under in the Arkansas LSU game. There's 52 points in the first half. Arkansas cannot defend without fouling, and you have a top 100 free throw shooting team. I watched that game. They had 34 foul shots against them. LSU off bucks. And I thought I hit that play, but this is just because of that. Sorry, I didn't mean to take you off, but just riled up all my anger on why I still hate Arkansas.
Yeah, no, 100%. But yeah, so we got right under that. Obviously, the winner of the play-in game was Indiana last night, and has that not happened yet? Is that today?
Indiana won last night. Yep.
Okay, Indiana won last night, and we got them going against Alabama, right? So there's the historical trend about play-in teams going pretty far, right? Making it another round. Do you buy into that, or not so much here?
Let me check something here. I want to make sure I see what day they're playing. I'm curious if they're playing Friday. I don't think that the travel really bothers me that much.
Yeah, the travel is a big one, I've heard.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I know what day they're playing. Does anybody know what day Indiana is playing them? I'm trying to pull it up here. For some reason, I can't find them. But when I'm looking at these guys, right, I'm trying to see. Yeah, thank you. I know. You can just imagine what I was throwing at that TV. So we're together on that one. Why can't I find this game? I'm on ESPN right now trying to find where this is. Do you see where that game is?
I pulled it up on ESPN too. I can't find it either. I don't know why.
Yeah,
But
I don't know if it's just because. Okay. I have. You're on Indiana St. Mary's, right?
yes, okay. I see.
Thursday.
Sorry, I
Okay.
had the bracket up. The chat is clarifying if you want to go check what's going on over there.
Okay.
It says
Because I have
Rutgers
Rutgers. Okay, so that's tonight. Okay.
Yep,
Talking about
that's
Indiana.
what I was trying to ask before. Okay, gotcha.
There we go. Yep. Okay. So that one's tough. I actually like the winner of that game. I'm assuming Rutgers. I like Rutgers here.
Mhm.
I think Alabama's just sucked to end the season.
That's
Right.
what, yeah.
They have been absolutely dreadful. I think that Rutgers wins tonight and wins that one. But I'm kind of nervous. Everybody on Twitter's in Rutgers, so I'm not going to be betting that. But I do think Rutgers beats Bama. Actually, I think that either one of those teams has a very good shot. I think Alabama is one of the most overseeded in this bracket. And yeah, I'm not really impressed with them, obviously. Shackelford's very nice. I like him. I've taken quite a few player props on him. He's very nice. But yeah, I think Rutgers, I think both these teams are able to slow down Bama enough. I do like their coach. He's a Whitewater guy from up here in Wisconsin. But I would have to lean Rutgers to move on.
Okay, yeah, no, sounds good. I mean, I briefly mentioned it, but there's all these historical stats that say if you win the play-in game, there's a pretty good chance you can go on a run. You know, you get a little bit of chance to build some momentum there. So I'm gonna go with you there. I think, yeah, it looks like
I agree, Andrew. I think that's great. I think that they have enough scorers too. I really like Geo Baker. I like Baker a lot. I'm a Big Ten guy. Obviously, I watch a lot of Big Ten basketball. Geo Baker and having Harper. Both guys experienced. Both guys can shoot. Both guys have the ability to play make. I think that's going to be a tough spot for Bama to slow them down if they do get through tonight.
Okay, so next up, we're pushing through Texas Tech in the bracket, right? Is that everyone seems to be put? I agree, right? That Texas Tech is good to move on right here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's beautiful. Michigan State, Davidson. Now, this is an interesting one for me, right? So I've watched a little bit more of Michigan State. That's where my mom went, family kind of ties right there. Davidson, people love Davidson as a popular dog because Steph Curry went there. Everyone in the world recognizes those little short dudes chucking up threes in the bright red uniforms. And from what I understand, they kind of play a similar way today. So Davidson is a dog that people want to back. And then Michigan State is a popular household name that people normally do turn to in March, but hasn't really impressed anyone this year, including myself. I mean, scoring, it's tough. So I'm really curious what you have to say about this one, because I think this is one of the more interesting ones in round one.
Yeah. So again, going back to my videos, if you guys want my full video breakdowns, they're obviously on this YouTube channel. I posted, this was the first one I went through, and Davidson's my sleeper here. I mean, Davidson is tough, man. Davidson is obviously an older team. They average 76 points per game. We're just going to go through the quick numbers here. Michigan State allows about 68 points per game. But the difference between Davidson and Michigan State, in my opinion, is just how efficient the possessions are for Davidson. Davidson is so efficient, 4 double-digit scores. I think I don't know how to say the names. I think it's like Lawyer, Loyer. Very nice. And they also have a guy last name Lee. Both of them are over 16 points per game. Their top 5 shooters can stroke the basketball. 38% from 3. All 5 of them. All 5 of them are over 38% from 3. They're 18th in the country in 2-point field goal percentage. Top 10 in the country in 3-point percentage. 75% from the free throw line. Their defense rebounds well. Top 50 in that category. It's just every spot that I would expect Michigan State to dominate this game, Davidson has an answer, right? They have the ability to defensive rebound, so you don't really have to worry about Marble and all those big guys popping down there, getting the offensive boards. They clear it well. Davidson just has everything that you want in a dog. I know everybody takes them because of Steph Curry, but you have 5 dudes who can shoot like that. Obviously, nowhere close to Steph Curry range or Steph Curry numbers, but the inability for you to double one guy and the inability for you to double down, I think that they're going to have issues in the paint. But hey, 3 points are worth more than 2-pointers, right? So I think that Davidson has that covered there. Obviously, Davidson has been playing extremely well. They did just lose to Richmond, which I think is very good for them to go back to the drawing board a little bit. But prior to that, I believe they won like 7 of their last 9 before that. So good team, old team, shoot the ball well, perfect spot for a dog.
Yeah, additionally, too, just statistically, conference champions do not have the best against the spread record at all in March. Winning that many games in a row can be tough. So losing that last one maybe takes a little bit of pressure off, too. I could go either way on this one, just because I think I think fading a popular Davidson could be a good route. It's just Michigan State, man. I don't want to pick them after what I've seen. Their struggles on offense are very pronounced. They have all the Tom Izzo stuff that they always have. Good game planning, well head coached, but the lack of scoring does scare me a little bit. So
yeah, and their shooting really isn't great. There's not many great shooting teams in the Big Ten. They have a couple good shooters throughout the conference, but you watch the Badgers play them. You watch Iowa; they have like 3 very good shooters, but that's about it, right? Iowa's the premier shooting team, right? You got a couple guys on Purdue that can shoot, but now you're playing a team that has 5 or 6. Honestly, I'm gonna let you know a lot of these are spread picks for me. Davidson is a dog here at +1.5. I think that's a good spot. I think a money line there too. But yeah, I think that Davidson comes through.
Sounds good. And I think we can feel pretty good putting Duke through, even despite that they're not the most popular team this year. Do we want to go down to the next region, or do we want to what?
Do whatever you want, my man. I think going across is what I have here from my videos perspective. Going to the South region is what I have next.
Okay, we can do that. The South region's to the right? Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, so Arizona. I mean, once again, I don't think you're predicting any 16 versus 1 upsets, right? I assume.
Yeah, no,
we're
good.
good. Okay, Seton Hall. I have to tell you,
you have to click the other one there.
Oh, did I? Yeah, I didn't put through Arizona. Okay, that would have been a mistake. Okay, so this one, I feel like for me, every year, there's just a game that I see that I couldn't care less about. Like, I truly could not give a shit who wins between Seton Hall or TCU. So I haven't even, I just pick Seton Hall every time because I watched them more when I was a kid. Can you give me a direction to go so I can just move on from this game and never have to think about it again?
I have no take on this game.
Okay.
This is just a bracket game for me.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to go here, I'm leaning TCU just because I've been playing better as of late. But Seton Hall, it's a toss-up. Like, if you like Seton Hall, throw them in. You like TCU, throw them in. Obviously, this is an 8-9 matchup, so you'd expect a very close one. It's a pick-'em game. I have no problems. Either way you go. If you like Seton Hall, put them through.
Okay, I'm going to push through Seton Hall right here just because I like their name. Houston versus UAB is an interesting one. Like we said before, 5s versus 12, something people love to talk about. Houston's a popular team. A lot of people believe they were underseeded. They deserved better than a 5. Do you think this is just kind of an automatic, let's push Houston through and worry about it in the second round?
Yeah, I've seen people actually like UAB. I've seen quite a few people do that. Personally, I mean, if they were fully healthy, if Houston was fully healthy, they would be probably like a 2 or 3, to be honest. I personally like Houston quite a bit. I don't know if I take their spread. They're like 9-point favorites. But their defense is so tough, man. Their defense is so tough. Love Sampson as a coach. The thing that sucks for this one is the best part of UAB is their offense. 14th in the country in scoring. You're looking at a Houston team that allows 58 points per game. They're top 10 in the country. It's just they're so long, so athletic. It's very tough for me. UAB is able to do what they want to against Houston here.
So what's the spread in this game then? Would this be
8.5?
Oh, okay. That's a pretty big spread. Okay. Yeah, I'm perfectly good with moving Houston through. Like you said, when you pick a high defense, especially versus one of these smaller teams that can score more, it's tough. Those long, defenders, they don't see them too often. So I'm fine pushing Houston through. Next up, okay, I need your opinion real bad on this one. I'm pretty sure I've picked Chattanooga in every single one of my brackets. I don't have a particular reason why I've done that. I like their name. One, that's a big version, obviously. I also like Kofi Cockburn points in this game. I believe everything I've read says that Chattanooga's interior defense is not good. They won't be able to defend the post very well, which will obviously be an issue with Illinois. But I'm curious what you think about this one because I've just been pushing Chattanooga through.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear you say that. A lot of people I know are just pushing Illinois through. Personally, this is my favorite matchup of this first round. This is one of the videos I broke down earlier. I like Chattanooga spread a lot. I like it a lot. Obviously, you're going into my favorite conference, right? I back a lot of Southern Conference. I watch a lot of it. Chattanooga is nice. They're a very nice team. I really like them. I think that they're much more healthy as well. When I'm looking at this game, let me pull up my bracket here. I'm going to see if I actually put them through or not in my bracket. I believe I did in one, and then in one of the other ones I didn't. The biggest thing for me is the matchups, right? The matchups in the paint and the matchups. Who's going to guard Malachi Smith? Malachi Smith is an absolute beast. Not a guy you probably never heard of, right? If you're not following into this conference, you're never gonna hear of this guy. Malachi Smith is so good. You have 20 points a game, 7 boards, 3 assists, 2 steals, 50% from the field, 83% free throw, 41% from deep, right? This is a guy that you can have take a game over at any point, right? And obviously I'm not going to compare Illinois' defense to Southern Conference defense because obviously I know they're pretty far off, right? But I like D'Souza quite a bit. He has had a lot of good games in the paint for Chattanooga. I think he'll do well enough. Obviously, no one is Kofi Cockburn. Obviously, he's a first-team All-American. But D'Souza is not a bad player. You're sitting here. I mean, he averages over a block a game, 11.7 boards. Big dude, too. That's what I was looking at was when I talked about him on video. He's 250 pounds, 6'10", big enough dude to body up with him. And obviously, I don't want a scrawny 7-footer, right? I also really like that Chattanooga plays slow. They can slow this game down any way they want. That's why I think that the 8 points is a little bit too much. They're 302 in pace in the country here. Malachi Smith is going to be the guy here, and that's really what I was going to talk about here. And one other thing is that I played in the Southern Conference, but the Southern Conference has some very, very efficient teams on offense. If you look at VMI, you look at Furman. I know a lot of people know Furman. Those guys are top 100 offensive efficiency according to KenPom there. So their offensive strength of schedule that they played is top 100, like 92. So it's not like they haven't played good offenses. It's just if Illinois cannot hit their outside shots in this game, I think that they're going to struggle. And if this game finds a way to stay close at the end, I'd rather have a ball in the hand of Malachi Smith than anybody on Illinois, besides probably Kofi, but someone has to get Kofi the ball. Malachi makes this stuff happen. Trent Frazier is a great defender for Illinois, but I think that if you have it here, I would take Malachi Smith. I'm going to take him spread. You could put whoever you want through. Like I said, I'm split on Illinois and Chattanooga to make it through, but Chattanooga spread is what I would definitely lean to.
Yeah, okay, that's perfect. No, I'm going Chattanooga to go through 100%. And are we going to be looking for Smith player props when they're available, or is that something you're already on? It sounds like he's one of your guys.
Yeah, no, I really like him. It's just if this game plays out the way I think it is with a slower pace, I don't know if I'd want to take points. I'm seeing a 135 total. Definitely could be a spot for me to take some point props. It's just I'm curious what they're going to come out at. I wouldn't probably go higher than like 15.5, 16.5, because, I mean, this could be a game. It played in the high 50s, low 60s. I might look at an under possibly.
Perfect. Okay, Colorado State, Michigan is one that it's weird. I'll just give you my perspective, right? Everyone in the world was saying Michigan shouldn't get in, right? They're not deserving. That's my interpretation. And then suddenly they get in and they go against Colorado State. And then now suddenly oh, Colorado State sucks, they're overrated, this Michigan's going to go through right here. People are saying it's a good matchup for Michigan, and that even though they didn't maybe deserve to be here, almost everyone I've talked to has Michigan going through here. What do you think? I feel the need to almost fade the public. It's rare you get to pick a 6 favorite and be fading the public, but I don't know. I'm curious what you think right here.
Yeah. I mean, even you go to ESPN, they have them at like 74% to win it, you know.
Exactly.
There's a lot of spots. Dickinson is good. I believe if I read it, I think I read this somewhere that Devontae Jones may hurt, which is their number 3 scorer. So that's a possibility. If he is out, that's a senior guard that I would like to have in the game if I'm backing Michigan. It's a toss-up game for me. Colorado State's nice, but I don't like Hunter Dickinson against anybody down there. I think that I don't think he'll be able to move. They have a big guy for Colorado State who's pretty good. Mm-hmm. But it's just Dickinson can shoot too. So it's just like he's a tough matchup.
Okay, well, for the bracket, what I'll do right here is I'll pick Colorado State to make it through because all my sources are telling me that it doesn't matter who goes because Tennessee's winning not only their first round matchup, but also their second round matchup. Tennessee is a team that in my brackets personally, my people are telling me they're really good. I'm trusting them. I have a lot of Tennessee, so I hope you do too because that would be bad news if not.
Yeah, you can put them through. Just put them right through.
What about, do you think Tennessee takes it to the second round, though, too? Do you think they handle Colorado State or Michigan, whoever they go up against?
Yeah, I think that I like Tennessee. I like their defense. I like their ability to shoot. I would definitely put Tennessee through. I think I have them through the next round, too.
Sounds good. Okay, this next one is one I've already bet personally. And I won't bury the lead. I bet on Ohio State. Despite the fact that I understand that they're not the best team in the world, does the fact that Loyola State have a 103-year-old fan, how many points does that move the spread? Because to me, everyone in the world loves Loyola Chicago. I don't see it watching them play. My sister goes there, so I watch them play in the tournament. It just, come on, like, everyone is just pushing Loyola Chicago through. And then when I try to ask people, they talk about the fucking 103-year-old lady. So I need to know what you think. I'm full on just fading. I'll take Ohio State, even though they kind of suck. I'm curious what you think.
Mm-hmm. Jay is in here saying that it's worth 3.5 points. I'm split on this game. I'm a Big Ten guy. I obviously think Ohio State's a better team. This was actually one of my favorites to talk about. But I am not picking a side for a bet. There's no reason for me to take a side here. So many better spots to take. Loyola shoots the ball well, top 10 in 3-point shooting. I think that'd be the reason why I would take Loyola. Ohio State, obviously a very efficient offense, but I would definitely lean Loyola's defense over Ohio State's defense. If this game turns into a slow, grudge match, I definitely think that favors Loyola. It's just going to come down who guards EJ Liddell. EJ Liddell is that dude for Ohio State. Personally, I wouldn't even take a side if I'm betting. Okay. In my videos that I did, I believe I talked about the under being my spot for this region for this play. So definitely think I would lean under. No take on a side for a bet. It's completely up to you who you're going with through.
Yeah, no, I'm continuing. I like Loyola. I have the classic emotional hedge because I have a family member. I'll take Ohio State, though. I still think in terms of just going against, there's just too many people on this team for not enough of a reason, in my opinion. I'll differentiate my bracket. I'm going to differentiate my bracket again right here. Not with – I'm not going to pick Delaware to beat Villanova. I will pick Villanova to win. I think for me, though, this is as far as I'm taking Villanova. I think Villanova is one of the big teams that they're getting a lot of, because everyone looks at their brackets. You don't want to take all ones. Villanova, they've got Gillespie, he was just on TV. A lot of people are talking up Villanova, taking them very far. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think if there's a team that I'm fine with missing out on, I think it's Villanova. I'm curious what you think about this one.
I'm not a huge Villanova fan. I'm not. I don't even know how far I have them in. I only do one bracket.
Mm-hmm.
I have Villanova a few rounds. I don't think they're better than Tennessee. And even if they win that one, I don't think they're going to beat Arizona. I like Jay Wright as a coach, but that's as far as it goes. Colin Gillespie is kind of overrated in my opinion. He's as old as I am.
I was gonna say, guy's like 25 years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I did in all my brackets so far is I've just taken Villanova to lose this game, and then if not, I've taken Tennessee to beat them because I'm high on Tennessee. So personally, you got to differentiate your bracket if you're in these big pools. If you're in a smaller pool, 15 buddies, you don't need to differentiate. You don't need to get too cute. You just need to pick who wins. But in these larger ones, you got to get different. I'll have absolutely zero Villanova shares into the Sweet 16 as the 2 seed. I could just get totally fucked for that, but we'll see what happens. We'll move on a little bit. Let's go to the East. I think the East, we'll save the Midwest for last, just because in my opinion, the Midwest is a shit show. I have no clue what to do with that. So we'll go through the East. I think like we said, Baylor's probably pretty good to go on. This next one, I'm citing my sources again. The smart people in my corner are telling me that North Carolina is just going to beat the shit out of Marquette. I'm exaggerating a little bit, obviously. It's a close game, close spread. I've taken North Carolina in all my pools so far, and I'll probably end up betting them because I've heard good things. They're obviously North Carolina. I faded them really hard last year, and it worked out great. I believe they lost in the play-in game, which was, I believe, my most profitable day of college basketball last year. So I don't know. I'm curious what you think about this. Is North Carolina going to move on to the second round?
I like North Carolina. I'm obviously from Milwaukee, so Marquette is the team here. My biggest thing from this game, if you don't take anything else from this show, but one stat, the stat of Marquette is 351st in defensive rebounding. That's 7th worst. And you're going up against Armando Bacot, Caleb Love, Brady Manick, big dudes. Caleb Love is pretty big for a guard. They're top 15 offensive rebounding. So I think that's going to be one of the biggest things here. Obviously, Justin Lewis is fantastic. I like watching him play. But I just don't think they're going to have the size.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect. I'm going with North Carolina here. That I love that rebounding stat you brought up. It might be time to play some rebounding props when we get there too.
Yep, I bet Armando Bacot rebounds in probably like 4 straight games. So
okay, perfect. Well, make sure to remember that, guys, because if he's betting it, that means I am too, right? You're my source here, especially for these props. Love that. You got the rebounding stat to go with it. Right under here, we got St. Mary's in Indiana. Like we mentioned, the 5 versus 12 thing before. What do you think about this one? St. Mary's is not a big name, but I'm seeing a lot of people maybe pick this as their 5 versus 12 upset. What do you think?
St. Mary's, they're good. I think this is just a slow rock fight.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to take a slow rock fight, I'm going to take a team that does it more often than not. And probably lean St. Mary's here. Spread-wise, I'd probably take Indiana. I think they're 3.5-point dogs. It's just, if you want to talk about an old team, St. Mary's got to be the oldest team in America, man. They got Tommy Kuzi. They got Logan Johnson. They got a lot of dudes there that are 5th year, 6th year, some of them. It's going to be tough. Trace Jackson Davis is going to be that dude, probably coming through pretty big numbers there. I bet his rebounds last night came through. That man is a beast. 3-0 on Trace Jackson Davis props this year. I would have to lean St. Mary's money line, but I think that if they're going to give me 3.5 points on Indiana, I think that's a little bit too much for me betting wise. But this is so hard. It's so hard. This is going to be a great game. Probably an unders game. Both defenses are fantastic. But it's really going to come down to what do St. Mary's do? Are they going to double team, or are they going to let one-on-one happen down low with Trace Jackson Davis? Because no one, even Kofi, had issues. I mean, Trace Jackson Davis had like 20 on COVID, so it's not like he could pretty much do whatever he wants. He's an NBA caliber talent. I definitely think that St. Mary's has the better team, but Indiana's playing great. They're playing great basketball right now.
Okay, well, with everything I'm seeing, with everyone loving to take the 12s over the 5s, I'm going to keep just taking the 5s right here. I've taken every 5 to go. I think people are overlooking those trends a little bit too hard. I like what you said right there. When it's a dogfight, you pick the teams that are used to dogfighting. So next up, I'm going to give a little spoiler here. This is, I don't know how you feel. Hopefully it's good. UCLA is the team that I'm hearing is the team that's going to make a run. That's not a 1, not a 2, not even a 3. They're a 4. I have UCLA not only winning this game, not only beating St. Mary's, I also have them beating Baylor or North Carolina to keep moving. I believe I have them beating Kentucky then in one game and losing in another in both my brackets. So I obviously have bought into the UCLA hype. It's disgusting. I have multiple Pac-12 teams advancing this year, which just, oh my God, it feels terrible to, play these guys that historically suck in the tournament. But I hope your team UCLA, because I've already committed. I'm in deep.
Yeah, no, I have UCLA through. I have them beating St. Mary's. I have them beating Baylor as well, but I don't have them any further. If they match up with the team that I think they're going to match up with, I think they get absolutely fucking smoked.
Okay, wait, in what matchup? Sorry, in what round?
I think they beat Baylor. I'm not a big Baylor guy. But if they're going to Elite 8 play against Purdue, I think Purdue puts them into the ground.
Okay, well, we'll keep moving then to that because, like I said, I'm big on UCLA. I'm glad to hear it. Let's move down to Purdue. You just talked about it. We'll circle back. Purdue versus Yale. I think this is another one, 14 versus 3. It's not too hard to say. People are just pushing Purdue through right here. It sounds like you did too, right?
The only issue here is Yale has a one-man wrecking crew. It's Swain. Over 20 points per game. Very good player. I just don't think they're going to have the size. Edie and Travion Williams is just too good. They're too big. I think they're going to have issues. Purdue.
Okay, and you said you have them going pretty deep too. That's one team I've heard a couple terms inefficient thrown out about them before. I've heard people saying the advanced metrics just don't like Purdue. Those are the kind of people that are giving me the information. I have some advanced metrics buddies, So I'm off Purdue. Can you talk me into them? Going a little bit deeper right here.
All right. Well, if your buddies are going to go advanced metrics, also have to realize they're playing Big Ten teams, right? Big Ten teams are slower. They're going to have better defenses on these metrics, points per game, all those metrics. But now we're going to have Yale here playing against them. Yale's a pace-up spot. Obviously, if they make it through and play Kentucky, that's a huge pace-up spot. Even if they play Tech, Purdue plays pretty slow. But you're going to go up against Purdue and tell me that they're not efficient. They're number 3. They're number 3 adjusted offense in KenPom. They have probably 3 dudes that are going to play in the NBA. Like Jaden Ivey against anyone in this region, I would take one-on-one. Mm-hmm. Who's going to guard Edie in this entire region? Like maybe Baycott up from the top. That means they have to beat Baylor. Like, I get it. I get your metrics. I get all that numbers. But guess what? There's something called the eye test. And watching these guys, I've watched these guys play like 20 times this year because I watch all these Big Ten games. Purdue is legit. I have a bet on them 4-1 to make the Final Four. I also had that like 6-1 after they lost to Rutgers. It was up to 6-1 on a futures line there. Purdue is bigger than most teams are going to play. You can get Edie in foul trouble, and they're going to bring in Travion Williams, a fifth-year guy who was all Big Ten. Like, that's off your bench. Like, not many teams can bring in something like that. That is an absolute weapon. Average 81 a game. They're third in field goal percentage from 2. They're third in field goal percentage from 3. They're great offensive rebounding. They're the best defensive rebounding team in the country. Like, what else? Like, what metrics? I want to know what metrics people are bringing up here because you can't offensive rebound on these guys. They're literally the number 1 offense or defensive rebounding team. You have 2 huge dudes down there that no one can guard one-on-one. Obviously, the only issue I have with them is their free throw percentage. Their free throw percentage is and that's why they lost games. That's why they lost against the Badgers twice because they got into close games and couldn't finish. But if I'm taking a team and I'm going to go off of talent, I mean, Purdue is pretty much, I think, only behind Kentucky in talent in this entire region.
Sounds good. I mean, I think, yep, I'm fine with taking Purdue any further. Like I said, I can't really defend these advanced metrics because I have no clue what's going on. So that's interesting. Okay, so Virginia Tech, Texas. Everyone is saying Texas is overrated. I've just been putting through Virginia Tech in my brackets. Do you think that's a good move, or do you think maybe Texas is pretty good, actually?
I really have no take on this one, betting perspective. Texas has underachieved. I think we all know that. Tech is playing well. This is a game that I'm going to probably have half and half. If I make two brackets, I have two brackets. I have one made right now, but I'll probably take two. This is a 50-50 game, man.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so if it's a 50-50 game, I'll probably take the upset, right? You know, just for bracket reasons. That's what I've been doing before. I'm glad to hear you say that. Nothing calls my name to Texas in particular, so we'll take Virginia Tech. San Francisco.
Turbo, what did metrics do to hurt you? Metrics don't, like, I like metrics, but, like, when you watch games, I get it that they're inefficient and, like, there's some stretches where they take stupid shit shots. They're college players. Yeah. There's a lot of them that do that. And there's no way to double team this team. There's no way. Who are you going to double team? You're going to double team off Sasha Stefanovic? That dude's like 29 and he's a sniper, right? You have Edey down low. Like, there's nowhere to double team. You can't double team Edey, then you're going to just leave those guys open for threes. Gills has been playing way better. It's just I just don't know what metrics could do to tell me that Purdue is not efficient. There's just I don't know what you could tell me.
100%. Okay. Well, I'm going to have to go make some edits then, you know, I maybe we'll see. We'll talk about one in a second that I want to get your opinion on. So Murray State, San Francisco, everyone came in my Discord telling me San Francisco is a team to worry about. So I just trusted them. I took San Francisco through. Do you have a strong take on this one? And then if you don't, do you think either of these two teams could maybe take down Kentucky in the next round?
Oh, shoot. I want to know who's telling you these.
Oh my God. Am I totally off right here?
I told my VIP that I am very close to maxing out Murray State. Very close. I'm very, very close to maxing Murray State. Right now they're a 2-unit play money line. Murray State, I get it. Okay, I get it. You're in the, like, what I want to know is who San Francisco beat this year that you think or anybody can say is a good quality win. Look at them. They have 4 matchups with the two teams in the tournament. That is St. Mary's, Gonzaga. Both lost both times, right? When they take the step up, now you're going to play against. This Murray State team is so athletic, so athletic. I don't think they haven't lost in 20 games. They haven't lost since December. This team ran through the OVC. Obviously, there's not another OVC team in this tournament, but Belmont, you've seen them compete very well with VCU last night, or not VCU. That was Princeton. I should know. I lost that bet, but I've been seeing a lot of people on San Francisco, and I understand it, I guess. I mean, their offense is efficient. They shoot the ball well, but, like, I'm going off of a Murray State team here that if you look at full numbers here, right, if we're going to go off of full numbers, I'm looking at, like, obviously their metrics. San Francisco wants to run top 100 in pace, 45 in offensive efficiency, 19th in defensive efficiency. I don't know how much I take into that with obviously the conference being what it is. Same thing with Murray State, right? They're not playing many people, but Murray State has the ability to slow this game down, right? They're like 240 in pace. If they want to slow down San Francisco and play a half-court game, I'm taking Murray State every single time. Murray State ranks 21st in points allowed at 61 points allowed. They're 43rd in guarding the 2 points. They're 30th at guarding the 3. They're great defensive rebounding team. And then you go to their offensive side, they score 80 a game. They're 21st in 2-point shooting. Their offensive rebounding is fantastic. There's really nothing on there. Obviously, you go to San Francisco. The one thing I don't like about either one of these teams is they both shoot the free throw really terribly. It's just when you look at Murray State, to me, I there's really no way I can take a team that's this hot and not back 20 wins in a row. It's the longest streak in the NCAA right now.
Interesting. What's the spread on this one then?
One.
Okay. Well, and is Murray State a dog then, or are they a favorite?
Nope, they're minus 120.
Okay, cool. Well, like I said, everyone came in my Discord and went, "You guys are gonna have to watch out for San Francisco." I'm curious where these guys are now. I know some of you guys linger in the chat, so if you're a San Francisco defender, you can speak your piece. But I'm gonna trust what you're doing right here. I'm going to take Murray State. I think we're both fine with taking Kentucky. Before we move off this one, Kentucky, Purdue, what are our thoughts on that one? I know you mentioned liking Purdue. Kentucky is a team. People love talking about Kentucky, right? I've heard a lot of people saying good things about them. Who do you think wins that game, Kentucky or Purdue?
I have to back Purdue in that one.
Perfect.
When your best player matches up with the two huge-ass dudes, like your best player is Sheboy, right? Sheboy can't really shoot the three. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to play down low and have Travion Williams and Edey in there, I have a hard time seeing anybody else step up to the point of beating Purdue and being that second fiddle like a Jaden Ivey can be, right? Jaden Ivey's the number one alpha guy, but if we're going big guys versus big guys, Jaden Ivey's the best other player besides, like, on the court besides those big guys. So I lean there. I'm just kind of curious with the matchup here. When I'm looking at San Francisco, this was another thing I wrote in here. When I'm looking at this, right, you're going to look at who, like, obviously when you bet these games, right, you're looking at matchups, right? Obviously, Peter Kiss tonight should cook, right? I mean, he should cook. There's no one on Wright State who can guard him. I'm looking at this guy on San Francisco, 6'9", from Belarus, pretty good offensively. But you're going to tell me that man is going to guard KJ Williams and do it well? KJ Williams is an absolute beast that no one talks about, man. This dude is a sniper. He's 6'10", 250. Like, he's had 20-plus points in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his last 8. He's had multiple games over 30, and he's only playing 28 minutes a game. This man if he plays 30, he might drop 30. Right? Like, KJ Williams is that good. Like, he doesn't even have to play a lot of these games because they're winning by so much, but gotten better every year. 2 years ago, 12 points a game. Last year, 16. This year, 18 points per game, 9 boards. It's just, there's just no one, in my opinion, that can guard him on San Francisco. He will be a prop I will be looking for sure. Okay,
100%. We'll keep that one in mind. Finally, we've got the Midwest. This is one I have absolutely no clue what to do with the Midwest. I mean, I think we can put Kansas through, right? That's pretty safe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Thanks, Turbo. He's one of the contributors down there too. So,
like that, that's fine. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to take a sprinkle on something like that, I get it.
That's $5 right there. We're not losing the house on this one.
We have a guy in here, Andrew. Yes, KJ Williams is on Murray State. Yes. He is a junior 6'10" forward. He will be a huge difference maker in that game.
100%. 100%. Yeah, I also got to write that down so we know when those props come out. So moving on, I think we're good with Kansas over Texas Southern. San Diego State is a team, like I said, I watched them play that Boise State game. We know they have a good defense. You talked about them. I've just been picking San Diego State. Do I need to switch to Creighton, or am I good to keep it going?
Keep it rolling. If you guys want my thing on San Diego State, I literally just did a 10-minute video talking about San Diego State. So
perfect. Go check that out
if you want to watch that. That's where I'm going to have a lot of stuff.
Okay, that's awesome. Because that's one of them that I've already bet also. So I saw them play defense. I like, we'll see what happens. But yeah, go check out his video for sure. And okay, Iowa. I don't know what's going on. I hear Iowa 3-point shooting. They've got the best player in the nation, one of them at least. Everyone seems to love Iowa. Richmond just had that upset we talked about a little bit. Does Richmond have a chance right here? Because I don't know if I've seen anyone pick Richmond over Iowa yet.
Yeah, and I think Iowa wins, but this is going to be a great game. I thought Richmond was going to be what my VMI was this year, where they were my wagon. I loved Richmond. I backed them so much last year. Their team has been so disappointing this year. And honestly, if they would have played anybody else right now, I probably would take them. I think the 10 points is a little bit too much, but man, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to stop them. I mean, they're so old. They have really good players. It's just you're going to put KO probably on Keegan Murray, Grant Golden. I just think Grant Golden he's going to be their dude. I think Grant Golden rebounds. I think Grant Golden points is something to look at as well. He's going to be the big guy going out against Rabika for Iowa. I think that's their best matchup. Their best chance of winning is going in there. I think Richmond does cover this game. It's just the reason why I can't back them to win is because Richmond is like bottom 80. I think it's like they're 276 is what I'm reading here. 276 in guarding the three-point line. Iowa shoots top 100, obviously. I think they're 71 in three-point shooting at 36%. And Richmond's offense, if you're going to look at a team that's really right? They're middle of the pack in pretty much everything. Their rebounding is very, very subpar. And I think that the offensive glass is going to be huge for Iowa. Defensive rebounding is the worst thing that Richmond does. They're sub 300 at that, and Iowa is top 60 there. So I think the offensive glass is going to be tough. But I think that with the veterans that Richmond does have, I think that Richmond at 10 points gives you great value. I don't think Iowa covers this number.
Okay, that's awesome because I am going to go bet that after this show because just for me, I really don't want to take Iowa. My problem is I don't know who else to pick in this whole Midwest bracket. So we'll talk about that a little bit more in a sec. But yeah, like I said, I really don't want to take Iowa just because for a simple reason. Volatility goes both ways, right? Everybody loves them because they're so great on offense. You know, they can't really stop people from everything I've heard, but they're great on offense. They can score a lot of points. The problem with that volatility is, yes, they could outscore Kansas. If that's in their realm of outcomes, of course they could outscore Kansas. If the three ball doesn't hit one day, they could also get outscored by Richmond. You know what I'm saying? The volatility, it's a give and take. It goes both ways. So even if Richmond, I'll get that Richmond spread in. I'll take Iowa just because it is 10 points. Do we think either Providence or South Dakota State could then take them out? What I've been hearing, Providence overseeded, overrated. They didn't end the season very well. And then what I've been hearing, I think you even mentioned this to me before, South Dakota State has the three-point shooting. People love the three-point shooting. People seem to be taking South Dakota State as a popular dog right here. What do you think about that whole situation?
So this is one of my favorite teams, right? I love the Summit League. I've played a lot the Summit League this year. South Dakota State is one of my favorite teams, man. They're one of my favorite teams to back. They're actually, not many people know this, they're the second highest scoring team in the nation. The only team ahead of them is Gonzaga, right? South Dakota State has so many shooters, and it's if they're shooting well, Providence goes down, and I think they lose big. Honestly, I think it could be an absolute beatdown here. The reason why I don't know if that's the case, obviously, Providence is like top 100 in guarding the three-point line, top 50 in guarding the twos. They allow 67 points per game. And South Dakota State's defense is not good. If I'm going to take anything, I'm going to take an over here. Mm-hmm. It's just I talked about this again on my other video here was how is Providence going to attack their starting lineup? Okay, because if you're going to start Watson, obviously you probably will. He's your center. If you play another forward against South Dakota State, this will turn into a track meet, and South Dakota State will score 80 points.
Yep. Because
when I'm looking at, they have a guy, Bynum for Providence. He's 5'10", okay? So if you match him up with the point guard for South Dakota State, his first name's Baylor. I think it's Shireman. He's 6'6" as a point guard. He posts up so often. Like I said, I've watched a lot of these games because I love betting this conference. I am very, very concerned for Providence. They're the number one luck team, according to Ken Pom. I know everybody's talked about that metric. Mm-hmm. It's just South Dakota State, if they have two guys. So I watched a game last night where I made the worst read of my entire life, right? Washington State versus Santa Clara. Santa Clara is 38% shooting from three. Their two best shooters sucked. And guess what? After them, nobody else is there to shoot them. If South Dakota State has two missing threes, they have three other dudes that can do it. That's what's so tough about backing these guys and playing against these guys is Douglas Wilson, number one scorer, 16.5, 40%. Shireman, 47% from three. Noah Friedel, 40. Zeke Mayo, 41. You go to their bench guys who play 25 minutes a game. Obviously, it's not in a huge sample size, but they're both over 50%. These dudes are snipers. They have so many of them. You can't double team anybody. That's the thing that's so tough about them because you can just go. They're not even playing a post player. They're playing a post guy just to be down there to screen, right? It's just when you have a team like this, it's like watching the Bucks, right? Shireman's 6'6". He's almost like a Giannis, right? Just dribbling up the court, trying to penetrate, dish out to a shooter, right? The Bucks, I've watched obviously a ton of Bucks games. That's all they're trying to do. All they're trying to do is shoot threes and layups, right? D'Antoni type of offense. That's what these guys do. And they're one of the best at doing it. It's just, can Providence close out well enough to have them shoot under their season average? Because you wouldn't believe me when I tell you, what do you think San Diego or South Dakota State shoots from three?
As a team, I'll say 35.
45. As a team.
Yeah.
As a team, they shoot 45%. As a team, they shoot 52% from two. Like, that is unbelievable. Like, obviously, I know a lot of people are backing them. I get it. I'm not going to back them just for the sheer fact of everybody backing them. I will take the over. Providence is going to have to keep up. South Dakota State does not slow down for anybody.
Okay, cool. And before we move on then, I'm curious, because then let's say San Diego State does win, or South Dakota State. It's one of those situations. I don't want to take Iowa, but these two teams, from my understanding, play a similar way. Neither of these dudes are going to come out here and play offense. We're going to see the shots absolutely fly in a Purdue versus South Dakota State. Is it worth taking them another round, or is Iowa just the better version of South Dakota State?
Well, they're a version of South Dakota State with Keegan Murray. That's the thing, is Keegan Murray is that good, man. He can shoot. He's 6'7", 6'8", can drive, can finish. And even the stars for Iowa can have a mid-range game. And they would have to play guys that probably don't play that much, because when you're playing in the Summit, there's not really many good big guys. That's why when they played North Dakota State, they struggled because Cruiser, that's his name, dominated them because they don't have a real big guy. I don't think that's a huge issue with Watson here, because I don't know how much they're going to be able to play him when they're going to play 5 out, So it's like they'll just double and make Providence shoot. If I'm going to look at Providence having to shoot the three ball, they shoot 35%. If I have to rely on that versus South Dakota State shooting, I'm going to take South Dakota State to shoot.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to move on South Dakota State here, but I think, unfortunately, I'm going to have to keep taking Iowa in my bracket. This bottom part, I need to know what you're thinking in this bottom part. I went to Colgate once. I've been burned. I kind of want to go back. I love those little white guys that just shoot the threes. It's fun to watch. Tell me where I should be going in this. You pick whatever one you care about. Where should I be going in this part of the bracket?
So I don't really have much on any of these. I'm not going to really go much into Wisconsin because I'm a homer. I don't like betting on my home team. I think Colgate's spread is a little bit high. These guys play the exact similar type of basketball. Colgate's a better shooting team, but I also think that they're not able to stop Johnny Davis. Colgate's not going to be able to. If they're double teaming, I don't trust Wisconsin to shoot the ball well. I think the spread's just a bit big. If anything, I might take a Wisconsin first half. Wisconsin team total maybe. It's just I for some reason Colgate just gives me a little bit of a scare thing on the spread. So LSU, Iowa State, not much. Both teams good defensively. No coach for LSU, or at least he's gone. That's a big news. USC huge. It's going to come down to, can Miami shoot? They didn't shoot well in their last game of the ACC tournament. USC is just massive. Allow the least amount of points in the paint. Auburn should take care of Jacksonville. There's really all of these games kind of have like a very one-sided thing here, right?
Yeah.
It's just good defense in LSU, Iowa State. Wisconsin and Colgate are pretty much the same team. They don't make mistakes. But yeah, this part is very tough.
Yeah. So since it's so tough, what I've just been doing is I've just been picking the teams that everyone else hates. So like LSU, the only thing that gets talked about is their coaching situation. I haven't even heard a single other thing about them actually, besides their, good defense. So I took LSU to beat and then I keep taking Colgate. It's interesting that you say they play the same way. Normally when a smaller team plays a bigger team and they have a similar play style, I tend to just go with the bigger team just because they're lengthier, they're most likely faster, higher recruit, stuff like that. So I'll probably go with Wisconsin right there. I have USC going kind of far. I know the main Mobley isn't there anymore, but it's still a shit show. So I'm taking the Pac-12 again. It really hurts me to do this, honestly. So I ended up going LSU, we'll go Wisconsin, USC, Auburn. Is there any chance USC can beat Auburn? Because I've taken Auburn to lose these all the time.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is Auburn doesn't shoot the ball well.
Yep.
That's their biggest thing. USC doesn't let you score in the paint. USC, if you're Auburn, you want Miami to win. You want them to win big. USC is a very tough matchup for Auburn.
Okay, I'm so glad to hear you say that because in all my brackets, I keep taking USC because, like Auburn is just, I think this whole division is a shit show. And to get an edge in these kind of brackets, for me, it's all about kind of mixing up, what we're doing here. But it looks like we finally got through the whole thing. We can obviously save some picks into the next round, once we get there. I don't know if we need to go in every single pick. I do want to mention the play-in game tonight, or I guess they give it a fancy name. It's the first four or something, right? Yep. That's what they call it. I like that. I'm on Bryant tonight. I have some, I don't know why. One of my buddies is like convinced Bryant's just going to win this game. What I'm hearing is the home court advantage is not to Bryant. It seems like they're going to lose the crowd battle. But I have a lot of people telling me Bryant. So I'm on Bryant 3.5. I'm also on Bryant money line outright as my biggest bets tonight. Do you have any thoughts on that one before we get out of here?
Only bet is Peter Kiss over 25.5. That's the only thing I have in that game. I like the over. Also, Grandpa Silly. He's from my area down here. He's fantastic. Over 20 points a game. I think that really helps the over, seeing as Bryant struggles to guard big guys. And you have a team here with Peter Kidd could score on anybody. So I think that definitely leans towards an over. I see it getting pushed up to like 156. I think that's pretty sharp.
Sounds good. And I see a couple of people, Wright State is basically in Dayton. That's what I heard too, right?
Yep.
The home crowd. But when you get these small market teams, you notice that information like that would normally weigh on the spread, maybe half a point to a point. But because nobody could care less about these teams and nobody knows that much about them, that information now is worth 3 to 4 points. You know what I'm saying? Those kind of situations. That's personally why I backed Bryant. He mentioned the over. I think that's a good look. You mentioned Kiss. I bet 24.5 at minus 130. So if you got a better plus money on 25.5, I like that too. He's obviously their best scorer. So yeah, I like Bryant tonight. I'm kind of committed. I'm in on this game. So hopefully we can all get a Bryant and an over tonight. That would be very nice because I'm pretty committed for a 16 seed game.
Yeah, both defenses aren't great. Both offenses are fantastic. Looks good for an over. Obviously, tournament games are a little bit harder for overs because they're going to try a little bit harder defensively. But both these teams kind of match up in that style of run and gun.
Okay, let's see. Before we get out of here, off the top of your head, can you think of one or two teams that everyone else is maybe talking about, but you're ready to pump the brakes on? You maybe think they're kind of pretenders a little bit. Maybe they're not going to go as far as people think they will. Anything that sticks out to you there?
Some pretenders. I think Baylor. Baylor's one that a lot of people have going. I'm also not very high on Kansas in that region. I think they have an extremely tough second round matchup if San Diego State wins. And even if they get through that one, having to play Iowa next, just the clash of styles there is going to be so apparent. I don't think Kansas makes it through that region. As well with Baylor, Baylor's got the hardest of all of the regions.
Yeah.
And they are the most beat up team in the nation right now. So I think both of those teams I'm pumping on. Obviously, Gonzaga, Arizona, I really like. Like I said, I have two teams. I have both of those guys not getting past the Sweet 16. So that's my hot takes for this one. I also see a lot of people on Iowa State. I'm pumping my brakes. I think LSU defensively, like my last thing here, because we're a little bit over an hour, is some of these teams that lose their coach might actually play better, right? If you don't like them, you might play better. You know, like you don't know how the team reacted to this coach. You don't know how well they liked him. So I'm going to roll with LSU over Iowa State, which I know a lot of people are on Iowa State as a popular dog.
Okay, that's good. Like I said, I take LSU all the time. Like I said, fuck it. Their coach got fired. That's all I hear people talk about. All you know, because we all pick these upsets, and then they're all they happen sometimes, but normally it's the things that nobody is even looking at, really. So yeah, like you said, we're about to finish up. Any questions, people can get them in. Any teams that you think can make a run that might surprise people, not pretenders, but maybe popular, you know, teams that actually could make a run at this thing.
For the title or just further than people think?
We'll say further than people think. We'll say that rather than title. Title's tough, you know.
I really like Iowa. I really like Purdue. Like Purdue is very high on my list. I think they have a great matchup with Kentucky if they get there. Obviously, get the first one done with Richmond, but I think that they have a good chance.
Okay, and one really popular game that's been talked about a lot of people have in their brackets, Texas Tech versus Duke. Do we think Texas Tech wins? I have Texas Tech winning that game in mind. And then if they do, can they stop Zaga? Can anybody in that? I don't think Duke can, but.
Yeah, I lean Tech in the Duke game. It's just we've seen Gonzaga play against teams that want to slow you down, right? Texas Tech is a very, very, very slow team. They're the number one team in defense. Does not matter. Defenses don't matter against Gonzaga. It's can Gonzaga shoot the ball. If they're playing their game, they beat anybody.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good. That's good because I have Gonzaga going to the finals in every bracket. I mean, I don't know about you, at least Final Four. If you want to get different, I feel like there are better ways to go. You mentioned Baylor. I also have Baylor getting knocked out before the Sweet 16. I'm glad you said that. Kansas. I also don't have Kansas making it out the Midwest in most of my brackets. Gonzaga's really good, so naturally people are going to want to fade them because nobody likes rooting for the Patriots or those kind of teams of the world. But yeah, no, I have Gonzaga going through. I like Texas Tech. I like you mentioned, those slower, good defensive teams. Those are always teams I like to root for. They unfortunately just tend to lose to these good shooting teams come playoff time. But
I think Gonzaga's toughest matchup is going to be Memphis, if anything. I think that's the toughest matchup they're going to have early on. I think UConn would get destroyed. Anybody who really comes out of that, I think, gets destroyed. Memphis is tough, though. Memphis is athletic enough to stay with them, and pace is right there. So that's the only one I'm really, really worried about until they get to Tech.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the guys that I have making runs based off of my complete and utter lack of information is I have UCLA going pretty far in all of my brackets. Looks like maybe I need to reconsider them once they hit that Purdue benchmark, but we'll get there. I have USC and LSU down here in the Midwest, both making some runs. And then finally, I do have Tennessee going quite far in most of my brackets. We'll see how that plays out. I'm sure we'll be back at you guys in round number 2 with more stuff, but that's really all I've got. I talked about the Bryant bets. I talked about any bets I already have in. I'll be tailing Mr. PPS plenty during this tournament because I need all the help I can get. So, yeah, I think we got this covered.
Sorry, my dog is literally jumping up here trying to get my attention for something. Probably has to go to the bathroom or something. But, yeah, no, we can do a second round for sure. Like I said, if you guys want any other information, I have a lot of it out right now. on the channel. I will be making a best bets video because I'm sure that's what everybody wants. But yeah, definitely think there's a lot of good value in here, a lot of good games tonight to make. Sorry, this dog is literally a fucking menace, dude. He's a fucking menace. Ugh, I don't know if I can even get him up here. There he is. He's just a big scratcher, so I let him. He was sleeping for a while. I don't think he's coming up now. He's awake now. I'm going. Oh, fuck. Yeah, that was a good show. Good show. If you guys have any other questions, like I said, DM me or DM Monotone as well. I think there's a lot of money to be made here. It's going to be a fun couple days.
Yeah, and don't DM me. I'll just tell you to then DM PPS. So you can save yourself a stop right there.
This depends on really what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm going to be drunk for the night before. I don't know what's going to all be happening. So just stay on Twitter. We'll keep you updated.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have a job interview on Thursday at 11:30. So,
oh my God, cancel that shit.
No, I'm doing it. But as soon as that's over, I don't know if you guys will even hear from me. I'm practically going to get off that, turn the tournament on, and, it's tournament time. I don't know what else to say. So maybe Friday is also tournament time, though. We'll see what happens. We'll have to, if we're both sober and up for it, then we'll get it done most likely.
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know it's a little longer show than usual, but again, if you guys want quicker bets or anything like that, shoot a DM. We'll get you whatever you need. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in for this longer show. But yeah, we got a lot of info out. Again, follow us on Twitter if you want more up-to-date numbers and stuff like that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to a little March Madness edition. Anything left from you, Monotone? You good to go?
Yeah, I'm good to go. I'm just excited. I think this is a lot of fun. I get to sit here, hear what you have to say. So yeah, I'm excited. Let's see how we do after round one. We're gonna have to make some bets in round number two. I think there was nothing like I was hoping you'd, when I went on my rants, I was hoping you'd be like, this is a terrible pick, but we'll see what happens in round number two. We'll see if we disagree a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll see if we have the perfect bracket after one. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you. Make sure you follow over on Twitter to see if we do it on Friday as well. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.